Folks, welcome back to the Todd Durkin Impact Show. This is Todd Durkin, and today I have a very special guest on the show. Her name is Trish Blackwell, and she's a confidence coach. And check this story out. I actually have known Trish for over 8 years as I've coached her in my mastermind group for many years. And now she's out of fitness per se, and she's changing thousands of people's lives. And she is one special woman. She's a mom of 2 children. She's a wife, and she's a incredible entrepreneur. You're going to hear that in the conversation today. This is her bio and background. Check it out. Trish Blackwell is an expert at empowering people to get past self-doubt, overcome self-limiting beliefs, and perform at their absolute best. Confidence coach to Olympic and professional athletes, Ironman champions, CEOs, high-achieving entrepreneurs, and cultural influencers, Trish has been featured by TLC, Entrepreneur, and Elite Daily as one of the top confidence coaches in the world. Her approach to confidence has equipped and empowered an audience of over 3 million people worldwide through her top-ranked podcast, The Confidence Podcast, her books, her coaching, and her online confidence university called The College of Confidence, also considered the most encouraging place on the internet. She's a wife, mom, runner, surfer, snowboarder, Ironman triathlete, Jesus follower, and she equips and empowers people to confidently show up in the world through thought work, through resisting the hustle culture, and through leveraging the power of love. Let's go out to the interview right now with the one and the only Trish Blackwell. All right, folks, we are here. I am at Fitness Quest 10, and I have Trish Blackwell here. Trish, it is so good to talk with you today. How are you?
Edie, it's like reunion time. I cannot wait to, my gosh, share with people how you literally turned my life around. Like, you gave me the confidence to do what we're going to be talking about today, which is just nuts.
Man, well, you talk about confidence. It's amazing because I remember, 8 years ago, we're at Park City, Utah. It was a P10 mastermind retreat. And you were talking about your dreams and visions to help, especially female entrepreneurs, young girls, develop more confidence. At that time, that was my daughter then was just 4 years old. She's now 12. And I was thinking, because you are working now with a lot of high performers and a lot of athletes and a lot of kids as well who are struggling with confidence. And even amidst everything going on with COVID and this crazy year of 2020, I am so proud of you, Trish, for the impact that you've created. I mean, give our listeners today, what is it? What's a confidence coach, and what the heck are you doing? Because what I see is absolutely amazing, jaw-dropping.
Well,
what are you doing? Explain it.
It's what we planned in Park City. Like, it literally is a testament to decide what you're going to design in your life and that world-class impact that you're going to make, and then just show up. Well, first it started for me. I was in the back of a Perform Better lecture you gave, where you said you can be world-class. That changed everything for me. Then I got into your stuff. I got into your mastermind. And the conversation, I don't know if you remember this, but we were going, and I said, Todd, I feel like I'm supposed to be a confidence coach, right? I don't know if you remember. I know exactly where I was having this conversation on the phone with you. I go, but dude, I don't know.
Where were you? Where was that? Where?
I was at the gym in this first office, closed in between clients, because I was masterminding out what this future vision and growing my business. And I was like, we were already branching out. I was doing my podcast, but I was like, what do I call myself? Like, I want to be a confidence coach, but like, it doesn't exist. And like, furthermore, TD, I don't have the confidence to be a confidence coach. And you said your story qualifies you. The fact that you are saying this right now, go forge the way, bushwhack the way. And sure enough, I was like, okay, you gave me permission to step out totally outside of my comfort zone, beyond what like even the personal development industry was doing. And was like, all right, we'll go figure it out. So that's where for me it all started, was that conversation. And then it was this decision. When it comes to confidence, first it's not either you have it or you don't. Everyone has it. It's not necessarily a feeling, it's a thought process. And we train our thoughts, right? So the more you train the same way you train your body, the stronger you become. So yeah, there sometimes you feel confident, but that's a result of your thinking. And so I had to learn to overcome like, okay, well, I don't feel like I want to get on camera and do these things. I struggled for 10 plus years with an eating disorder and severe body dysmorphia, to the extent like I didn't want to wash my hands in front of a mirror in the bathroom because I didn't like my reflection so much. So now you wouldn't know that about me if you go look at my Instagram with a million pictures of myself, or you go to my YouTube, or you see that I literally spend my life on camera now. It's just shows you the power of transformation to go. And what got me through that to say, I'm going to start showing up, even if I'm not confident enough to, was because I remember how terrible it felt not to have confidence and not to have anybody talking about it. Like people don't talk about it because nobody wants to raise their hand and go,
Right.
oh, hey, I'm insecure. But
So
everybody is.
Yep. So let me ask you a question. At that point in your life, you were in the fitness industry, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
And now when someone asks what you do, what do you say?
I'm a confidence coach. I equip and empower women to train their thoughts and change their lives.
And how do you do that?
Whether that's through entrepreneurship, whether that's through becoming a better mother, wife, and I do work with men as well. I have a strong hand, so I don't exclude, but if you look at my brand, I'll add a lot of pigs. So primarily women, but I certainly serve men as well. And we do that through, like really intentional, active mindset coaching, training your thoughts, teaching people how to manage their mindset, master the mindset, and step into truly being congruent between taking what's in your head into your heart and then into your hands. Because I struggled for so many years knowing what I was supposed to be doing, but then not being able to activate it. And that was my problem as an athlete. I was an elite athlete. I had a lot of ambition, I had a ton of potential, and I got in my way because of my thinking. So I was that. It's kind of funny that I'm now teaching people how to master their thoughts, because I was the sports psychologist's worst nightmare. I couldn't get it together. I couldn't connect my head to my heart and understand that connection. And now that I figured it out, I'm like, I gotta help people.
But don't you think that's why you're good at it? Because
because I have a deep yes.
Right. Why is it some of the best coaches in the world are ones who actually had coaches who were horrible?
Yes.
Right? You learn like whether it be back in your junior days, your high school days, or even your college days. You're like, I had 2 or 3 coaches that were absolutely horrible. And I remember saying, I'll never coach like that. Right. Now, I know you and I have both had great coaches, but I've also had coaches who I'm like, I will never, ever coach like that. And I bet you going through that same head trash, thinking, and the same shortcomings that at the time were really big struggles for you probably is what makes you the coach you are now, who's impacting thousands of entrepreneurs, women, men, people who want to establish their confidence and heighten their self-esteem.
Totally. And every level is a new devil, right? Every level you get to athletically, professionally, there is a new confidence challenge because
I like that. Every
right?
level's a new devil.
It is.
Man, I'm getting excited over here.
One of my favorite definitions of confidence is that it's, all right, it's not like I got this swag to me. Sometimes it's a swag, but really it's just courage. It's the willingness to sit with an uncomfortable emotion. So most people go, oh, that emotion feels too scary, or that what if, that potential, that what if I fail, or what if I don't get the likes or the views or the this, or and it's the ability to go, so what? I'm gonna step into it anyways. And I always go back to your analogy. You didn't even realize that you gave me in that conversation in that little office. You were all the way in opposite side of the country from me, where you said, Trish, you got to go be Trish and bushwhack your own path. And then I was like, oh, there's never going to be a clear answer. You just have to keep moving. As long as you are growing, then you're going. And if you're going, you can have confidence because you're moving the right way.
Preach.
Yeah, right. So
well, I think we all want clarity. We all want answers. And right now, at a time that is so uncertain, we're searching for answers that aren't there. And that creates more and more anxiety, more stress on that. As a matter of fact, I want to just give a plug, folks. I know you're listening to this podcast right now. One of the things that Trish has done since we started working together way back in the day, you at that time were writing your first book. Yeah. But now she has her own podcast. It's called the Confidence Podcast. And I just listened to the latest as I record this. The latest one was 415, episode 415, folks. How to exchange your anxious heart for a peaceful heart. right? So that's the kind of language that Trish is using and working. But the Confidence Podcast is one that you come out with. What is it, weekly? That you have a
I
weekly
do. It's
episode?
drop every Tuesday. Every
Yeah,
Tuesday. Yep.
every Tuesday. And you say this, and I love this: is double your confidence, quiet your self-doubt. I think there's more self-doubt than ever before. I think there's a lot of people who are just sitting back and waiting for life to happen to them instead of having that vision, looking, for the 2021, what's going to be coming of our vision. Even though you're not sure of those things, we talk about confidence is like a muscle, and
Yep.
how do you work that? What would you say about that? Confidence is like a muscle, Trish. What do you have to do to work that muscle of confidence?
Oh my gosh. Well, there's a couple of things I'm gonna hit what to do to train it. But first, I want to say a couple of misnomers about confidence. People think you either feel confident or you don't. We already addressed that. It's a thought process, and you don't have to. Your thoughts drive your feelings, not your feelings your thoughts. So you get to choose. It doesn't say we don't honor the feeling, but we don't wait for the feeling in order to take action. So we take action. Yep. You choose that will come. But that people think, well, in order to be confident, like I gotta be like, 80% stay cold. Like I need to be 80% sure. And the reality is you just gotta be, we just need a majority. 51%, baby. And
Yep.
you need 51% confidence. If you are 51% more, if you have 1% more confidence, well, that would be 2%. Let's just call it 2% more confidence than self-doubt, then you're confident enough to move forward. I did not, for years, not understand that even the most confident people still wake up with self-doubt. That self-doubt, that voice is never going to go away. I think I was waiting for that magical day, but that's why we get told to reset our minds daily. That's why it's your mind, your thought work is like brushing your teeth. You just literally sort of adjust the channels, like turn down the volume of the self-doubt and turn up the volume of the self-confidence or your belief of what you want to be the primary focus of your thoughts. And so that's what we're training to. In the same way, when you're training your body, you're starting to isolate different muscles. And the more you do that, the more aware you are of engaging specific, parts of your core or of your glutes. But when you're starting off, you're like, I don't know, I'm doing a squat, right? I can kind of feel it. The same way when you train your thoughts and you train your confidence, at first you're going to go, I think I'm doing it. The more you do it, the more masterful and intricate you will be and able to separate it and truly turn volume up and volume down. So I work with a lot of people on that volume up and volume down. The actual practical how to train your confidence. There's a couple of things I think it's really imperative. We look at the training of our minds in the same way we look at how we schedule training our bodies, right? Coming from an athletic background, from a trainer background, totally makes sense to me. I know what times I'm working out every day of the week, without a fail. Why would I not know what times I'm training my thoughts? And that means literally writing in your schedule an appointment with yourself, red taping it and saying, this is my thought training time, which is through reading, through journaling, through meditation, through prayer, through repetition, through actually trying to break some of the glass ceilings in your own limiting beliefs and stepping into what I like to call your identity 2.0. So you, Todd, knew Trish 1.0. You are now getting to know Trish 2.0. And hey, Trish 2.0, 2.5 is coming up. And I'm stepping into 2.0. And so what I do in these times, and when I work with clients or with my students in the College of Confidence, is the same concept of, all right, when we move forward and you want to walk with confidence, you got to step into that person that you're becoming. Not who you're waiting or wanting to become, but you start actually sort of playing at that level in your mind. And so you get comfortable with that in the training of your confidence in these quiet times that you create, where you just go, well, who is this person? How does he or she act? What does he or she do? What are the little details of excellence that they pay attention to, right? Because that version of me isn't sloppy about anything, right? If I am meticulous about my level of habits, my high level habits, then I'm going to be meticulous in my thought because I'm congruent, right? How we do one thing is how we do everything. And so I think one of the things that's counter to confidence, that especially in the entrepreneurship world, and especially from coming from a D1 drive, I'm going to work harder than anybody else. I think one of the most insidious things that kills confidence is our hustle culture. Because when you are competing and striving, and now there is a time and place, right, to to temporarily burn the candles at both ends. Like I certainly did that building my business, working 60 hours a week, training for an Ironman and trying to build my business. But that's not sustainable. And it won't, and it will choke out your confidence, because if you don't have the time to create space to train your mind or to recenter your thoughts, then you're choking out your clarity. And when we lose our clarity, you're walking in fog. You can't be confident, right? Clarity helps you step into the confidence. So that I'm really, really focused on helping people understand that that's where the confidence comes in. Gosh, it's scary to go. How do I believe that less is more? How do I trust that I can be more effective with a little bit of amount of time than working until 2 a.m. every day?
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. I think the culture of busyness, we are all very, very comfortable with busyness. And what I always talk about is, just because you're busy doesn't mean you're being efficient and profitable with your time. You've got to make sure you're being, quote, being busy on the right things and allocating your time, and most importantly, your energy on the tasks that are going to move the needle. Now, when we talk about that, I think it's important in this, because confidence, I don't care if you're an athlete. Obviously, if you're an athlete, confidence is important. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're a kid, if you're a student, whatever you do, confidence, we all want to live with more confidence. Do you think there's any value in self-doubt? Do you think there's any value in it?
I think it's a great question. I do, because I think it keeps our courage activated.
Amen.
I never want to lose sight of my choice to step into courage.
Absolutely. Yeah. I asked that because, guys, I want y'all to know, I have self-doubt too.
Yeah.
Trish just said she has self-doubt. I think it's a superpower. I'm not saying to walk around with self-doubt. I'm saying that when the self-doubt is there, is to acknowledge it and use that as fuel, literally fuel, to say, you know what, I'm not going to let this doubt kick my butt and hold me back from where I want to go. That's why I think it's crucial that when you get a vision of your life, and now you're a woman of faith, I'm a man of faith. When you look at yourself, I love reverse engineering. If you were to see yourself as the man or the woman you want to be in 3 years, what is he or she like? Write it down, right? Open up a journal right now, unless you're out for a walk and you're in your note section of your phone. Who do you want to be? What kind of mom or dad do you want to be? What kind of entrepreneur do you want to be? What kind of athlete do you want to be? What kind of coach do you want to be? What kind of lawyer, doctor, bus driver, whatever it is that you do? Who is it that you want to be? Not just what is it? Who is it you want to be? A man of peace, prosperity, tranquility, serenity, happiness, all of the things. Write it down and then reverse engineer it. So in 1 year, who do you want to be? In 6 months from now, right now, when we go into 2021, who is it you're going to be in 2021? And then we've got to make sure that we actually are living with that vision, so that we know that vision is pulling us up. It's pulling us up, and that confidence will evolve and grow based on what Trish just said. She went over this rather quick, and I want to make sure you absorb this. She said reading, meditation, prayer, journaling, all of these things are extremely important in developing the confidence, the courage, the things that are necessary for you to actually manifest what it is that you say you want to do. You've got to actually have those acts and those habits. So Trish, that's money, that's gold, what you just talked about there, because you said training your mind, and my ears went up like, get your mind right. I was like, oh, she's like, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, one of my favorite things to tell people are intimidated by journaling, because they go, well, where do I start? What do I write? And there's two little quick things I want to say that I love to position around journaling. Journaling is like breathing for your brain. So think about this. So in the same way we recognize, we know we need to go do yoga work and do just actual intentional breath. The same thing is, you are breathing out onto paper all of your toxic thoughts, all of your anxieties, all of the stuff that's clogging you up. So that is your exhalation, like you're exhaling onto paper. And what's beautiful about, you get to inhale what you write back down. So you actually, I coach people to write it down, and then the process of rewriting it out, or either you cross it out and you rewrite it and you reclaim where you're going to camp out, whether it's an identity statement or it's a focus point, but there's this rewriting, and it tells you that I'm not bossed around by my thoughts. I'm the boss of my thoughts. And then when you write it back down, pen to paper, you are inhaling that really into your soul, into your mind. And that is how we start renewing that mind, that process. But so many people go, well, what am I keep a diary? What am I, when you say journal, what do I do? And hey, if you want to start something as simple as write down that most toxic thought, your most anxious thought, and then write down what you want to replace it with. And it could be starting as simple as that. You're thinking, exhale, inhale in.
Mm. Go back to that boss thought, because what I see people right now in the streets dancing, they're trying to like write that quote down. What was the quote about the boss of your thoughts? What was that one?
So because I was such like, by the way, right, crazy, no sports psychologist could help me reach my potential. Overthinking everything I did. Literally, I spent most of my life feeling like my thoughts were the boss of me. But you are the boss of your thoughts. We are not in the passenger seat of our minds. We are the driver. We get the power to choose. And even if you felt powerless before, you step into it right now. It doesn't matter whether you're 15 years old listening or 65 years old. It is never too late to turn that brain around. The brain is, first off, the neuroplasticity of the brain is incredible. What we are able to do, if you dig into the science of it, is phenomenal. So we really can think new thoughts, think differently. It's incredible.
I got goosebumps right now.
I got goosebumps. So exciting.
Your thoughts are not the boss of you.
Yeah.
You're the thoughts of your boss, right? Or you're the boss of your thoughts. I do want to talk a little bit more about that journaling thing, because I'm coaching a lot of people right now who know that mindfulness is important.
Mm-hmm.
We all know that meditation and journaling is important. Matter of fact, I just did episode 131 of the Impact Show. It was on the hardest exercise you will ever do. And it's on being still. It's being quiet. It's a really hard thing to do. It's hard for me to do. I admit that in the episode. Is like, I know it's a discipline. Like exercise is a discipline for the body. Meditation or journaling is a discipline for the mind and the spirit. You just gave one great example of some journaling prompts or exercises that one could do. Are there any other ones when it comes to quieting the inside down, journaling or meditation? Are there any other hacks, tricks that you use or that you advise one to become more mindful during this tough time?
Absolutely. So one, I think setting an atmosphere with music is always incredibly powerful. So if you're a person of faith, put on a worship song. If you just want to upbeat music, maybe you like piano background, you just put something on that shifts you, that tells you it's time to slow down and be present. And I also think it's important to note that journaling doesn't have to be this hour-long endeavor. So many people don't do it because of that. Yep. I have a journaling process that I coach people through that's 8 minutes. I think you can effectively journal in 6 minutes. And so I think, and I think it's really important not to be, I don't even want to recommend to people, please set aside 10 minutes of your day. Because when we say a task is 10 minutes, TD, most people are like, oh, I don't have time for 10 minutes. Somehow we think, oh, I'm so busy. Not for 10 minutes. Like you have 10 minutes, but I like to play the mind game to trick you to make it feel easier. Can you do 8 minutes? You just have 8 minutes. Make time for yourself. And whether in that 8-minute process, 2 minutes is listening to a song. The other one is like telling your kids to stop coming into the room, right? I'm doing life with a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old right now. So like lots of interruptions, right? So yeah, that's okay, but find a way to be quiet and be still. And then sometimes it can look different. I really like that. What's my toxic thought? What's most toxic? I got to get it out. And what do I want to know is true? But sometimes a journaling process can be writing out something that's bothering you from a conversation you had with someone you love and going, all right, what do I know their intentions are? Here's what I'm so thankful for about them. Like just reframing something. And then there's just the basic, really classic, I'm going to write for 5 minutes on a timer about everything I'm thankful for. Right. That's it. I'm showing up. And you know, what motivates me, Todd, is that for so many years, especially being a man, I used to have, my 4 a.m. till 11 p.m. packed. And I that was my identity. I was so proud I could do more than most people in a day. And I thrived off of that, like hustle. I was dying on the inside, totally fulfilled, checking boxes of accomplishment, but desperately just exhausted. And I had no confidence because I was just spread too thin. Yep. And so I look at most people, and most of the people I work with too there's too much to do. I can't keep up. I'm exhausted, and I don't have 8 minutes. Like, Trish, I don't have 8 minutes. And I look at the culture, and if we're talking about how do we resist average, how do we be above average, how do we be different, how do we be exceptional and world class? We just have to be different from most people. Most people are too busy. Most people will not journal. Most people say they don't have the 10 minutes. And so even if that's the motivation, sometimes I motivate myself when I don't want to do it. I'm like, Trish, you don't want to be most people. Because guess what most people also are? They're negative and unhappy, and they feel stuck in life, and no thank you. Right. So sometimes we have to kind of pivot what the motivation is. Like, once you set the habit, of course it becomes easier. But even if you just want to prove to yourself that you are different now than you once were, you may not be where you want to go, but that's not the point. My confidence is not in my outcome. It's in the fact that I'm growing. Right.
Yeah.
So you can go, I'm gonna reassure myself by simply showing up here, even that the journaling itself is not productive. It doesn't matter what you accomplish in the journaling, it's that you show up for it.
Yeah. This is an interesting topic, because when you talk about journaling, and we all know we should journal more, right? Everyone wants to quote journal more, all of us, myself included. But this is a deep thought. I'm part of a Bible study with Pastor Miles McPherson. Miles has been in my life for 23 years. And every Tuesday night we get together with a group of couples. And the last month, one of the ways I've been starting my day in the journal is just writing down the words, slow down.
Ooh, that's
slow
good.
down.
Yeah.
And you write slow down 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the reason why I'm sharing this and how it deals with confidence is this, is if you write slow down 3, 4, 5 times in the day before your day gets going. It's, I got my routine. I'm in the office before I pray and everything. I'm like literally just sitting in silence, writing slow down, is because when you do slow down and you do journal and pray, meditate, call it what you want, that allows you to truly get in touch with yourself, your spirit. When you're in touch with your spirit, then you can be who you really are.
Yes.
Because if you're not who you really are, what does that do? That creates anxiety, because you're the old imposter syndrome, or you're trying to be everything to everyone. But if you didn't set that intention of like, I've got to get in touch with me. I got to get, again, call it what you want. I got to get in touch with my soul, my spirit, myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to take this time to slow down and literally write in the journal, slow down. And then you write it real slow. And that the last month has been making a big difference, so that I can even start my day before it gets crazy, because it will, so that throughout the day, like, I've just really tapped into who I am. Because the whole imposter thing is, like you say, you hide behind busyness, because you think you're being rewarded because you're busy, when truly all it does is create a lot of havoc and stress in one's life. So it made me think about the writing down and the gratitude and toxic thoughts. And one of the things I wrote in there as part of our exercise that we're doing as a Bible study is, the other thing is what I don't like about myself. If you write down what you don't like about yourself, but then turn it around and here's what I do love about myself, is you said it's cathartic to put it on paper. And as Robin Sharma talks about, he says, writing creates clarity, and clarity precedes genius. Writing creates clarity, clarity precedes genius. And when you can write it down and you can have that clarity of who you are, what you want to do, what you want to achieve, accomplish, or most importantly, what you and who you want to be, now all of a sudden you're living very, very congruent with who you are.
Yeah.
And a lot of people aren't doing that. A lot of people are just kind of like reacting to the world because everything is so fast paced. So anyway, that's to me how the journaling process and even putting slow down relates to confidence, because when you are confident with who you are and you're at peace with who you are and you're not trying to pretend to be someone you're not, then everything is simpatico and everything lines up. And just some deep thoughts there.
That congruency, right? So if you think about one of my most recent book is called Insecurity, Detox. So often if you look at confidence, the anonym is right, insecurity. So what is insecurity? If you look at the word, it means not secure. So therefore, when we talk about what is it that we're really looking for when we say, gosh, I just want the confidence to do this. I want security. I want security. And where do we get security? We get it from knowing our identity. right? Which is why it's important to slow down and get your identity in that quiet time. We know it from being congruent. Congruency creates security, and so does connection. And that's connection with God. And then it's also, if you slow down enough, relationships in our life, we have such superficial relationships because we go at that busy pace. Well, if you want true confidence, to slow down even in your relationships, you get a deeper connection. You'll know that inner circle that matters the most. And then you feel so secure that there's literally no risk to go after anything all in, right? It all goes back to, this predicated on what you already said, this slow down concept. I'm really inspired by just reading it, when I'm reading the word, looking at what is the pace of Jesus? Did he ever rush? Was he ever stressed and flustered? No, he's a long way. He's a 3 mile an hour God. I want to run at 9 miles an hour on the treadmill. No, like he walked. Like that's just, there's just so much wisdom in just that phrase you said, slow down, because that truly does connect to, how do I feel secure? And if you feel secure, you'll have the confidence. You literally will have the courage to go, let me throw some spaghetti on the wall, see what sticks. There's no risk. You got nothing to prove and nothing to lose. When you have nothing to prove and nothing to lose, you will be the highest, most confident, most courageous version of yourself.
Yeah. This is some deep talk, folks, and I hope you're enjoying it. And you know, I encourage you, again, if you want this, obviously we address these types of topics all the time on this show, but you know, check out Trish's The Confidence Podcast, because every week she's dropping bombs like this that'll get your mind right. It's an approved get your mind right show. So definitely follow her. I got a couple more questions, Trish. Your best habits these days. You're a mom, you're an entrepreneur, you're a wife, you've got a lot going on. Some of your best habits to keep your confidence up and to keep your semblance of yourself. What are a few of your best habits?
Yeah, best habits, morning routine. And I'll tell you, I don't love it, but I do it. Morning routine for me especially is stretching first thing in the morning, which I never want to do because, right, well, I want to get going. I gotta look, that makes me start slow. It also, right. So stretching, some music, my journal time, and then I go in. Another best habit, I have put boundaries on my email. I love what I do. This is my calling. I get so I can't batch content stuff because I'm too exhausted after talking about something because I'm so jazzed up. I love doing what I do, and I would do it all the time, but I also love my family, and I need to work hard at resting well. So I have to be really intentional about my habits about resting well. And so no email after 9 o'clock. I have a very strict bedtime with myself. I totally Sabbath. I don't do anything on Sundays. That is email related. That was hard. I'm embarrassed to tell you how hard that is for me. Right. I can't not look. I'm so curious. So putting some boundaries on that, right? That's really best habit is truly is getting out and making sure, especially pandemic life. We've got 2 adults working full time from home without childcare with 2 toddlers. So our best habit is some insane communication right now. And so we've got the big whiteboard and it's been really great and challenging and life-giving for our marriage and our family. And so my best habit right now in 2020 is learning how to not, to be grateful for this really truncated schedule, right? It's 5 to 8:30 a.m. And then I've got the kids for 3 hours and then he takes them for 3 hours. And then I do this and I work out here and then and that's not ideal. And it's also not gonna be forever, but there's some beauty in taking my kids to the park for 3 hours on a Tuesday, right? That there's things I've been able to do this year that I am incredibly grateful for, but it takes just immaculate communication. So that has been a best habit, and it's hard.
Yeah, no, it is hard. You know, it's funny when you go through your routine there, one of the things I think about, and I've been really on this lately because there's so much talk about the morning routine. And I've always been really quote dialed into the morning routine, but I think that the nighttime routine is crucial. And the reason why I've been on the nighttime routine is because, over the pandemic, there was many times that my nighttime routine got so disrupted, that my sleep got so disrupted that it affected my morning routine. And so lately it's been all about nighttime routine for me, so that if I can get 7 hours of sleep, which is a great goal of mine, if I can do that, then I can start the day the right way, as we've been talking about. on that. Matter of fact, I'm going to do an entire episode on that because nighttime routine is absolutely essential. And it's funny, I laugh. You talk about batching your podcast, folks. I don't batch these podcasts because I don't want 4 podcast episodes in a row because like I want to give my all to this one, and maybe I'll do a short like spit and fire one, but like it's probably not the best use of my time to not batch. But I love doing them. Like I love talking to you right now and sharing. Right. It's like, you know what? This is the show. It's a 1 hour show or whatever it is, a half hour show today. And it's like, man, it's like, okay, sometimes you got to just choose like, how do you operate best? And I operate best when I create a show like this with great value. The energy is, very poignant and focused on task versus, the 3rd or 4th episode of recording. I'd be like, okay, Trish, what do you do?
Nice speaker to the nighttime. I totally agree. My morning's pretty automated. Nighttime. Oh, so I actually total confession. I had to put babysitter on my phone. I have to turn off. I put a night. There's a bedtime. It shuts down 10 o'clock. You can't tap anything on my phone. It all goes blank. I can call my mom and text. Yeah, there's all kinds of great settings on your phone that you can parent your phone. You put your phone to bed before you go to bed and get it, and you wake up after. Yes, the same way I parent my 3-year-old. He goes to bed before me, hopefully, and then I put, and then I had to shut down social media at 9 o'clock. It's very easy for me to get into social media, news and Pinterest and start shopping and all kinds of stuff, and that just does not make my life better. Not at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. And so I sometimes have to, I self-coach and talk to myself in 3rd person. Trish, what are you doing being lazy here? You got no business, girl.
I love 3rd person talk. I love 3rd person talk.
Every single person should be doing it.
I'm like, TD, you got to get your mind right, boy. So I'm always like, get your mind right, TD.
You should definitely do that. That's going to be a great episode when you do it on nighttime routine, because it's so, so important. I totally.
It's crucial. Talk to me about 2021. As you start to get ready to look ahead, what are you most excited about for the next 6 months for your life? What are you committing to? You're already doing amazing things, and I can't encourage everyone listening in enough to follow Trish and to listen to her Confidence podcast as well. But what are you most excited for personally and or professionally?
Yeah. So professionally, I'm really, really excited. My online group coaching, the College of Confidence, we just decided, I don't know why I didn't come up with this before. Like, I think it's incredible. We've been 3 years. It's the Netflix of life coaching, and every resource you can get plus live coaching. I am proud of this. But what I'm making it now. I am confidently starting to proclaim this. I started saying this publicly already. I'm committed to making the College of Confidence the most encouraging place you can find on the internet. So that is what I'm trying to figure out. How do I make it that just an accurate statement? I want to flood it. I want it to just explode with just so much encouragement that people can't help. But
how will you do that?
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out. We're going to pop compliment, just make sure that it is the place where people feel safe, heard, seen, understood, and supported because it's one thing to say, stop worrying or get your mind right or do this, but how? With the true how, I'm going to hand hold you in the how so that you see the micro milestones, because micro milestones lead to mega milestones, and get that breakthrough. The problem is most people get discouraged before they get that first breakthrough. And then that's why we get this pendulum in any area of life. And so if discouragement is keeping people derailed from their calling, then I need to be the most mega encourager that I can find. Like you often say, be the most positive person in the room.
Absolutely.
That's it. I want to be the most encouraging person anybody will ever find. So that is the goal. Professionally.
We're going to have to connect offline here. We're going to have to marry the get your mind right man here and the College of Confidence. And do something.
We'll bring you
special.
in as a guest professor. We'll bring you in as a guest professor. Yeah.
I love that. I want to be a guest professor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, that is awesome. Well, Trish, thank you so much for being who you are, and not only over the last 8 years, but your path and journey is amazing. And folks, when you read her books or listen to her podcasts or part of her program, you'll see the amazing woman that she is. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for just sharing your soul today and so much wisdom. And hopefully it has imparted some extra confidence in all of our listeners today as well.
You're thinking the thanks goes to you. You literally turned my life around. There's no underestimating that statement. It's a 180, and it was of course when I was in your programs, but it's also when I was in the back of a seminar of 500 people that you didn't know I was even listening. So that was, I can point to the turning point of my life in Rhode Island at a performer. So I mean, right.
Thank
just
you.
Millions of people would not be infused with confidence right now if I had not walked into that room and you had not shown up all in the way you do. So I seriously, the thanks is to you. God is good.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Trish, end it with this. If there was someone listening right now, a young woman or a guy who is really struggling, down in the dumps, this pandemic has kicked their butt, or they were just released from their job, or their business failed, or their marriage failed, or they're facing financial difficulty, and you need to say something to them today to give them a little boost of confidence. Can you please end today's show with a little bit of Trish Blackwell helping to get their minds right?
Absolutely. And it needs to be clear. I have been rock bottom. I thought my life was over, thought I should die at level rock bottom. So I feel that pain and I know that pain. And so if anybody is feeling that level of just discouragement and just loss of identity and direction, your story is not over. And you are on an adventure that is going to turn into something absolutely beautiful. We have to decide to say that this is not how the story ends, that even by daring to hope for something to change, you were already starting to change. And that it's okay if you feel that for a minute. You can believe for a minute, and then you go back to being in the dumps. That's part of the process. You just keep going back. You keep going back for more. You keep going back for more. You keep being like my 3-year-old who keeps asking for the piece of candy that I already said no to. You keep going back until you finally get that yes, and you will finally believe it and you'll get that. And so it's being okay having to renew your mind over and over and say, I am proclaiming that this is not going to be my story. We get to decide that. We get to design our lives. And also then settling and saying every day, if I just improve 1%, even if it's 1% of 1%, that bad boy has a compound effect. And I love telling people, as long as you are growing, you are going. If you're going, then the needle's moving, as you always say, right? That needle is moving, and you can feel peace and excitement and anticipation for what is to come because it's good.
Drop the mic. Folks, there you have it. Trish, if they want to follow you beside the Confidence Podcast, where can they find you on social media? Where can they get more Trish Blackwell? The world needs more Trish Blackwell.
Yeah, so everyone needs more just showing up, just being themselves. Go be yourself, and you can get some of the encouragement to do that. On Instagram, I'm Trish_Blackwell. On Facebook, I'm Trish Blackwell Coaching. And then on YouTube, I'm Trish Blackwell.
There you go. Folks, I'll put it in the show notes, but you have all the content there. Trish, thank you so much. I have my Live a Life Worth Telling a Story About shirt on, by the way. Live a Life Worth Telling a Story About. What's your story? And Trish today certainly talked about what it takes to take your story, however good, however tough it's been, is to make sure that you craft your story and make sure that ultimately it's one that creates a lot of impact. And that, Trish Blackwell, is what it's all about. I love you, girl. Thanks for dropping so much wisdom today. You are the absolute best. Wow. Oh, wow. That was such an awesome conversation with a special woman, Trish Blackwell. It's amazing, sometimes when you're doing your work, little do you know the impact that you can have. I didn't know that Trish was sitting in a back of a room with 500 people and was listening so attentively. And then she attended my 3.5-day live mentorship. I think it was like 2012. And then she was part of my highest level mastermind group, my Power of 10 mastermind group. And she's really transformed her life now, as she's not necessarily a quote trainer / fitness professional. She is a confidence coach, and she's building up high performers all the time. What I find is whether, it's a young gal or a young guy, or it's an old gal or old guy, we all need confidence. We all need that swag. We always talk about like, hey, wag that tail, wag that tail. I just want to lift each and every one of you up today. I want to lift you up and let you know that whatever your story is, that you got to keep making progress. Like she talked about, you know, the 1% rule I always talk about, or a 0.5% every better. It's all about progress. Today, what can you choose to do today? Maybe you're doing it right now. If you're out for a walk, jog, run, you're working out. Maybe it's getting your mind right and reading a book, or committing to a journaling routine on a regular basis. Choose your habits, because your habits ultimately are going to determine who you are. My friends, thank you. Thank you for listening to the Impact Show. If you weren't listening, then I wouldn't have a show. And if you weren't sharing, then we couldn't spread the gospel of positivity and motivation and inspiration every single day. So thank you so much for what you do. You do make a difference. I don't care where you are around the world, whatever country you live in, whatever city, state you live in, whatever you do for a living, continue to create impact. Create that impact that each and every one of us desires. So folks, have an awesome day. I love you guys. Train hard, eat right, live inspired. And don't forget, today is your day to create impact. Peace and God bless.